Hi guys, Josh here. Welcome to Frames Per Second. Today we're doing a photo shoot with Ricky as a model, and we got Kyle here, and we'll be shooting with his Mamiya RZ. In theory, it's my dream camera, but in practice we'll see if it actually is. So we're gonna have some fun today, shooting some streetwear. Let's go. So in theory, the Mamiya RZ is my dream camera. I'm a big portrait person, and it's meant to be one of the best portrait cameras out there. So this is my first time using it. I want to thank Kyle for giving me the chance to play with it. And it's still my dream camera. Yes! There was a lot of variables as to my experience with this camera.
Ready?
Part of that was the lenses and just the time of day we were shooting, and for the most part I had a really good experience. The things I would need to really make this my dream camera is I'd need the 110mm and the 90mm to play with. With this shoot, the shortest length lens we had was 140mm, which is also a very slow lens as well, while also being a harder lens to shoot with when you're on lower shutter speeds, because you get more motion blur and movement from the length of the lens, while also the shutter slap as well, which it is quite a big mirror. But I did love the experience of having the rotating back and using the waist level finder. Now this shot I do have in focus, even though I didn't always get focus with every shot, and same with Kyle, but for the most part we did. And the quality of the lens is gorgeous. Mamiya makes really great lenses, and here we're also using some expired Portra 400 VC. But is it a camera that is worth the hype that it seems to get? And I would say yes. There's definitely some things just from further use I'd be able to get more of a handle on, and I think this is more for right-handed people than left-handed people. The ergonomics don't seem the best for a left-handed person, which could help if I did have the handle for this camera, because with my 645 I do have a handle which I hold with my left hand, which maybe if I had a handle like that for this camera that would have helped a lot too. We're pushing it, at a 60th. And yeah, it is a big bulky camera. Is it the heaviest camera I've held? No. It's not too bad as far as weight goes, though if you are doing slow shutter speeds I would recommend getting a tripod, or like I said, a handle would definitely be helpful for shooting this handheld. That we did kind of do some accidental double exposures, which some of them looked okay, but because they weren't done on purpose, not exactly the best. But here we're definitely losing a lot of light, and obviously from being medium format it's very shallow depth of field. Here you can see that her shirt is in focus but her face isn't. It's an RZ. It's a legendary portrait camera, great for using in the studio, and with the leaf shutter you can use it with a flash or strobe and use it at any shutter speed, which is fantastic, and one of the reasons why it's used for portrait and studio work quite a bit. These shots are a bit underexposed because it is expired film, so we loaded up some Portra 400 after that, and so this is some fresh stuff, which you can definitely tell the difference. And yeah, Kyle got some good stuff at this bowls club. And yeah, it's really a gorgeous camera with a gorgeous lens, and Mamiya is just great with lenses. I know there's other cameras that have been said to be sharper. I know lots of people back up the Hasselblad, but I really loved using the RZ, even though there were definitely some restrictions we had just from the kit that we had to use, and also just from the light we had left, because we did have to start a bit later just because we had to wait for Kyle's lab to close so that we could get shooting. I had a good experience, and I think that it is still kind of my dream camera, but just with the price and also the problem of some RZs just dying out of nowhere, I think I probably will go with an RB instead, even though it is significantly heavier. But because it is fully mechanical, it just seems more reliable and easier to fix. And it still has great lenses because it's Mamiya, and they make great lenses. I also forgot to mention that we used 1/4 Pro Mist filter on the lens the whole time. And so lastly, we loaded up some Portra 800 and we shot at a laundromat. So here Kyle mostly used for the flash, which was my Mets flash, which I will eventually do an episode on, so let me know if you want to see that sooner rather than later. But yeah, we used the flash, as you can see here, and it did a great job. And yeah, I love Portra 800 and it really looks nice here.
Oh, you want me to sit here?
And so here we have another accidental double exposure. And yeah, this was an issue that came up a few times, just because with the back, you kind of have like a separate winding mechanism, which is meant to go together when it happens, but sometimes it didn't. And yeah, the flash actually turned out pretty well. I decided to go no flash and use a tripod and a shutter release cable, because we did have to go at slower speeds, because I think it was a 3.5 or a 4.5 aperture on this lens. And so yeah, unfortunately there was a bit of motion blur in that shot. Here, it's just not in focus, I think. And overall, I had a good experience with it. I just wish we had different lenses to suit my shooting style a bit more. I do like to have a wider field of view, and the 140mm just wasn't for me. Though I think the 110 and especially the 90mm would really be up my alley. But this shot is in focus, and this shot looks great. I did some editing as well, just to kind of fix up the skin tones a little bit. But yeah, I think this shot turned out really nicely. And here, yeah, we're actually sharp because we actually have a decent amount of light. The shutter doesn't have to be as slow, so we're not getting so much movement from the mirror slap. But yeah, I had a good experience. It's my first time using it. I'd be keen to use one and hopefully own one in the future, though I think just because of the price, I'll probably have to go with an RB. But who knows, maybe in the future I'll be able to get one and it won't just randomly die on me. But yeah, it's a great camera, and it's still on my list of cameras I really want to get. I'm still pretty happy with the cameras I do have at the moment. And yeah, it's a camera that I do like. I hope to use more in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the episode. Let's thank Ricky for being a lovely model and for withstanding this cold. But yeah, please let us know your thoughts on the images in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe, turn those post notifications so you know when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh, it's Ricky. Kyle's in the car, keep him warm.
Yeah.
Get out there, shoot some film.